Retirement, can you really do it? This episode will answer that question and covering all of the limiting beliefs, the reasons of why you may think I can't, but also giving you 3 areas that you should give focus to make retirement possible. And guess what? That is the name of my new membership to support you in making retirement possible if you are 5 to 10 years away. Click the link in the show notes to learn more and listen to this episode to be inspired as to how you can reach retirement. Welcome to Wealthy After 40. Ready to ditch debt, retire sooner, and live life on your own terms? Only 54% of Gen Xers feel prepared for retirement, and 22% believe they will live a comfortable lifestyle. So if you're feeling like your finances are a hot mess express, you're not alone. I'm Daylene Higgins, founder of Elevate Finances and money coach for Gen Xers. I reached my dream of retiring at 50 while helping our daughter through college, and now I want to help you do the same. It's time to stop avoiding your finances like the plague and start having confident conversations about money. Join me every week to talk about personal budgeting, debt payoff, saving for retirement, money mindset, and leaving a legacy for future generations. Okay, friends, let's talk money. Welcome to the episode. So, retirement. Can you really do it? This episode was inspired by a comment, whatever you call them, on Reddit. The individual, and granted he was in his 40s, he said, I met with my financial advisor. He reviewed all my numbers. He told me that I have enough and I could quit working today. Now, being in your 40s, you may not be as prepared for that answer as hopefully you are when you're older, but it's understanding that it's more than just a number. That's what I will talk about in today's episode is definitely how you know the number. We're going to talk about that. And then how to know if you're ready or how to prepare yourself. There's so many people who are constantly saying, well, I can't retire. You don't do that until you're 65. Or, well, I can't retire until I have Social Security. These are statements that are just limiting beliefs. They are things you've heard people say, so you don't even explore your own belief around retirement. First and foremost, I want you to explore that. What are you telling yourself about retirement? And what you are saying, what you are believing, is that your own understanding or are you believing what other people say? I have heard so many people say, well, I can't retire till I have Medicare because healthcare is so expensive. Because so-and-so said. And it's that so-and-so said, which is where the problem lies. Now, you truly may not until that time, but until you meet with somebody who actually sells, marketplace healthcare, you don't know. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised when I went that route. So that's all I say you need to do is that if there's something you're telling yourself that's holding you back, what can you do to maybe remove it? And retirement is so far off for so many years that we give it no other consideration other than, oh, I've seen people do this, or I know my parents did this, or I know my parents did that. And really, I just want you to explore retirement for you. When you say retirement, can I do it? That you are answering that question with your beliefs, your details, your facts, right? When you explore specifically all of the numbers, all of the things lining up, that is so very important. But I know the other side of retirement is we're used to working. And we have this belief that retirement just means you're old. And a lot of people, and honestly, I was sharing this conversation with my brother, and, he worked for the railroad, and they learned that there are workers, and back with our old steel workers in our state, they would leave work and in a year they were dead. And it was due to the fact they hadn't planned for retirement beyond this number. I really explore retirement as a whole. That is my goal with this episode. I just want to share, if you have not listened to all of my episodes, and back to my personal story, I retired at the age of 50. Do I believe everybody should? No. It's for everyone to decide. Early retirement isn't for everybody, and it may not fit for you in many different ways. My husband was also able to retire, and he was 53. And it was due to stress at work, but we were able to make that happen so that he could enjoy life in a better, healthy state. But exploring even that with us being retired, our retired lives, even though we share the same house, is completely different. I became an entrepreneur. What a great opportunity for me to try something new. And I love to help people with their money. Being able to do all of that together, not having to give up my very slow, lax mornings. That's what I especially love. Neither one of us loves to travel constantly. That was not a desire of ours. We like to go, different places and stuff if we've thought about it, but we are not travelers per se. The other adage, you're a golfer. No, I have my slow mornings. It's not about a 9 to 5 anymore, or a 7 to 6, or an 8 to 5. I've done all the schedules. Giving up your mornings, it's a race. It's a madhouse. Honestly, I'm so glad those are gone. That is my biggest benefit from being retired. But then the growth I've had in retirement as an entrepreneur. Then for my husband, he likes to continue to work. He is somebody that likes to be busy. He has a hobby that keeps him busy a lot of the days of the week. When he goes exploring jobs, and I'm going to use that loosely, he usually works about 3 days a week. He does work, quote, a full day. But when he goes for these jobs, he's had somebody approach him, can you work for me? And he's like, okay, but I'm not making less than this. Like, there are certain things you can have expectations on in that, retired working phase. And that's what I love about us. We're so different. And he explores working. He even had the opportunity to be a Zamboni driver, and they don't pay well. They do not pay well. But for how many times do people are like to him, oh my gosh, I've always wondered, was that a lot of fun? But being able to explore other positions, careers, jobs, employment, and not have it have to be a certain number is huge. Retirement can mean anything. The retirement gap, which is what I'm talking about today, is made up of several things, several angles, and gaining clarity on these 3 factors I want to talk about today will help you be more successful, more enriched in retirement. All right, so the very first one we're going to talk about, yes, definitely, you have to have enough money. And that is, having said that, I'm going to quickly give you a formula. So if you're driving, come back to it later. I'm going to give you a formula that helps you identify what I call your FI number, or your financial independence number. And then we'll talk about different ways to approach the whole task of this. Total annual expenses multiplied by 25 will give you that general total savings that you need. That's your FI number to be able to retire. Now, it's going to be a big number. I was on a call one time with an individual who was worried about having enough. We first did this step, and it was quite large. And then we were exploring her savings. And as we explored that element, I said, how many 7 years do you have until you retire? She had 2, just over 2. And the reason I ask that is because on average, again, it's just a general rule. Financial advisors, financial planners they use models and things as well. This is kind of, without it being rude, dumbed it down, but made it more feasible for us to understand. So as we doubled her money for the first set of 7 and then the next set of 7, she saw that gap closing. Consider that for yourself. How much savings do you have? How many 7 years do you have? Double your money right there. Right there, you're closing that gap to that FI number. That's without contributing any more to it from this day forward. Kind of mind-blowing, but it can actually make you feel better about approaching and reaching this number. The second thing I want to talk about is the total annual expenses. Are you budgeting in a way that you truly know what your expenses are? If you are not, you're guesstimating. And being able to be more exact, and budgets are flexible, budgets go up and down, but really if you are working with a budget, you better know your expenses than somebody who does not. So getting in that place where you're budgeting and knowing what you're spending on is very important. The next advantage is if you are somebody who is over 50, you're closer to 60, you know your expenses better in retirement than somebody in their 30s or 40s. We know what our health is like. We're only, 10, 15 years away, 5 years away, whatever it is. We better know what our expenses are going to be for retirement. And that right there starts helping us close the gap. Really getting into that budget and exploring what spending looks like. And if you've heard me share, I do the 3-bucket budget with clients on the first session on what they are spending now. And then as time goes, you really learn a little bit more if that is a true number or not. I had one client, we created her spending bucket, and she says, I don't know if that's going to be enough. And I said, use it and let's determine. It took her about 2 months and she goes, oh my gosh, that is more than enough. So really knowing and having clarity around your expenses with the budgeting can put a whole lot at ease with being able to reach that retirement number, and maybe having a better retirement number because now you truly know what your annual expenses are. Now, if you're somebody who has a pension of some sort, when you're calculating that total annual expenses, take that pension amount out. If you don't know the annual amount, but you know predictably what your monthly is amount, take that out of your month and then times it by 12 and go ahead with that formula. But moving that pension amount out is key. Then your FI number is more closely related to what you need to close the gap. All right, enough about the money, because there's more to retirement than just money. There's more to life than money, but being able to create what we want is so important. And so that is the second gap hole that you need to fill is, what is retirement to you? What do you dream to do for retirement? What is your vision? As I was approaching my retirement, I was always told, constantly told, go spend your money, go travel, go do. I love to go places. I hate traveling. There's that thing that I just don't enjoy it. Why am I going to do it in retirement if I don't enjoy it? Leaning into that. Same with my dad. He retired. Everybody bought him golf clubs and he was like, I don't want to golf. It's very important to think about outside of the box. Those two things are, again, limiting beliefs. We have to either travel, we have to either golf, or we have to go here. No, retirement can be whatever it is you want. That's why I shared with you the personal story of my husband and myself, and even our view is different, even though we spend the time together, but our vision on the day-to-day is different. Really explore what it is you want retirement to bring to you. What does that look like? What do you hope it to be? Maybe that is the fact that you want more than one home, or maybe you do want to travel, or, I don't know what it is. Be close to your grandkids. There's lots of different things, but when you are creating this, make sure you are dreaming. very much dreaming is essential to creating a vision instead of just a goal. Looking ahead as to what you fully and truly desire. Once you do that, you will work hard. You will work harder to save the money that you need to do the things that you need to do to make it happen. That desire, that motivation, having that dream, having that vision is key. All right, the third gap. Many people, and I think this is, it's a gap, but it's also a limiting belief. People are like, well, I don't want to stop working. I've always worked. And that is true. We've been working for years, especially Gen Xers. We started with paper routes, babysitting, lots of different things. We have been doing this. I think McDonald's hired you at 14. There were many people that did that. Yes, we have been working for a long time, but retirement does not mean that you have to give up working. Remember my husband being the Zamboni driver? What is a job that you've always thought would be fun, but you could never do it because a career meant you had to have enough money. You have to pay the mortgage. You have to do these things. And while that's the same in retirement, you can kind of explore and kind of flex the ability of working. I always would ask coworkers, a couple of different places I worked. One was going to go back being a UPC coordinator. That was one job she did. She loved it. And another coworker, she wanted to mix paint at Home Depot. Really just think about it, explore and have fun with it. Here's your opportunity to work, to contribute, to be a part of something bigger or greater, and just to fill you and what you want to do or try to do and explore to do. My question to you is, why are you making what is stopping you a big deal? And what do I mean by that? I don't have enough money. That is stopping you. Why are you making it a big deal? Go explore it. I need healthcare. Okay, go explore it. Really, we make them such a big deal and we have not grounded into factual so that we can then start molding and building around. I did an earlier episode with Craig Colvert. I'm going to link that down in the show notes below so you can go listen to that if you want. He was a financial advisor, financial planner in a former life. And as he was helping people with their FI number, he realized that people were lacking in this vision. And so he became a life coach to be able to explore an alternative way of looking at retirement. And I think that is what is so important as you're approaching retirement. Are you going to work part-time? Are you going to downsize? Are you going to relocate? Are you going to turn a hobby into income? Lots and lots of things to make retirement different than what we've known before. The baby boomers that have been there for a little bit, the silent generation, they were a different generation. We are too. We need to approach retirement differently. We need to make it fit who we are and what we've been. So really start dreaming. I'm going to give you 4 steps to start closing that gap. The first one, pay off all debt if at all possible. And the reason I say this is because it's one less expense you have claiming the need of your retirement number. Number 2, explore part-time jobs to help you exit your, 9 to 5 to finish up until Social Security steps in. Number 3, budget. I know nobody likes the B word. I want you to call it a retirement plan if that makes you happy, spending plan, you name it, whatever, your map, your guide, but really get into the nitty-gritty with your numbers to see what is possible. Until you know what those numbers are, you don't know. You're making it a big deal. Don't make it a big deal if it's not. And the final step, amp up your savings. And when I say amp, that is your level. That is what you can get into your savings to help close the gap. I really desire for everybody to be able to retire in a life that they desire, want, and can build. Determine what steps you can take and to build retirement to be what you want. You're Gen X. You get to do this, and we get to do it our way. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Every week, my goal is to help you get one step closer to financial freedom and making confident decisions so your money starts working for you. Do you have any questions or comments about today's episode? Please send me a message on Instagram or use the fan mail link in the show notes below. To stay connected beyond the podcast, join my newsletter for insights on growing wealth, behind-the-scenes musings, and opportunities to contribute to future episodes. A free gift awaits you. If you're looking for personalized support to get your finances on track to becoming debt-free, being able to retire sooner, or better understanding your finances while navigating a new financial situation, check out my website at elevatefinances.us to learn more about one-on-one coaching.